Hello there and welcome. This is Lunchtime News on TV1 for the Newsfirst team, the voice of the people. I'm Jama Ratnayaka. Today is the 29th of July 2021. Here are your headlines for this afternoon.
Island-wide gas shortage worsens. Census to be conducted to assess citizens who have not been vaccinated. Government to amend finance bill which provides amnesty to undisclosed assets. Will people be responsible for a lockdown?
On to your top story for this afternoon. A census is to be carried out on people who have not obtained COVID-19 vaccines. Lalit Viratunga, who heads the task force on the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines, expressed remarks to this effect today.
Lalit Viratunga, the head of the task force on the procurement of COVID-19 vaccines, said most COVID-19 deaths are of unvaccinated people or those who have obtained one dose of the jab. He made these remarks during the inaugural media briefing at the President's Media Centre today. Viratunga noted that the government expects to inoculate 11.5 million jabs before the 31st of August for those above 30 years. 4 million jabs are to be offered under the second phase. Lalit Viratunga said that plans are being made to administer vaccines for those between the ages of 12 and 30. He said that 15 million people would be vaccinated before the end of this year if the plans are implemented. A decision on whether obtaining COVID-19 vaccines should be made mandatory would be made following discussions with the President in the future.
Still in related news, Sri Lanka confirmed 63 new COVID-19 deaths yesterday. Accordingly, the country's total death toll stands at 4,258. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's total tally of COVID-19 infections has crossed the 300,000 mark. The official count stands at 301,832. 271,855 people have recovered from COVID-19. According to the Health Ministry, 25,782 infected people are still under medical care.
The total number of daily COVID-19 cases that stood at 1,400 recently increased up to 1,900 yesterday. We cannot take this lightly. If this continues to rise, we may have to face a serious situation that we faced in May. I have seen that the precautions adopted in public, such as offices and supermarkets, have reduced by today. It would be apt if people are asked to wash their hands before entering a place, and if their body temperatures are checked. We are also asking these institutions to maintain a record of people who visit their facilities.
ඒ කටයුතු නැවත පණ ගන්නවලා මේක ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යන්න කියලා ඊයේ දිනේදී රෝගීන් වාර්තාවෙන් වැඩි වෙනවා මරණ සංඛ්‍යාවක් වැඩි වෙනවා මේ ඩෙල්ටා වෛරසයෙන් එක නිසාද මේ සිද්ධ වෙන්නේ ඩෙල්ටා වෛරසයේ.
We cannot rule out that the Delta variant may have an impact on this, but what is important is to take the relevant steps to minimize the spread of the virus while going ahead with our social and economic activities. If everyone ensures that this is done, I believe that we can curb the spread of the Delta variant.
The Chinese embassy in Sri Lanka says that another consignment of 4 million Sinopharm jabs will be delivered to Sri Lanka next week.
In a tweet, the Chinese embassy said the batch of 4 million Sinopharm doses will be delivered to Sri Lanka based on an order. According to the Chinese embassy, this would be the largest amount of vaccines that Sri Lanka has received in a single batch. The tweet added the Sri Lankan embassy in Beijing is currently making the necessary arrangements to fly the consignment to Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka has purchased 12 million doses of the Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine so far. The Chinese government has gifted 2.7 million doses of the jab to Sri Lanka.
Still in local news, Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said a program is in place to provide clean drinking water to people in rural areas via community water supply projects in line with large-scale projects taking place in the country.
The Prime Minister yesterday virtually declared open the Greater Mathale water supply project from Temple Trees. 90,000 families living in and around the Matale town will benefit from this project, which cost 31 billion rupees, funded by the French government.
When foreign diplomats, including ambassadors and high commissioners, come to visit, I always appeal from them to support us in providing access to clean drinking water for the entire country. We received a positive response. You may recall that we declared open the Kurunagala Dedru Oya water supply project recently, which provides pipe-borne water to a large number of people. Similarly, we declared open the water supply projects in Galigamur, Kegol and Hapugala Gol. Hundreds of thousands of people are benefiting from those water supply projects.
ලක්ෂ සංඛ්‍යාත ජනතාවක් අද පිරිසිදු පානීය පානය කරනවා ජලය ලබා ගන්නවා.
The Attorney General has submitted documents to the Supreme Court on the amendments that will be made to the Finance Bill. The proposed legislation seeks to provide amnesty for undisclosed taxes. A petition filed against the bill was taken up before Justices Priyantha Jayawardena, Kumudini Wickramasinghe and Shiran Gunaratne today. Appearing for the Attorney General, Senior State Counsel Nirmalan Vigneshwaran submitted documents on the amendments that would be made to the bill. Still in local news, police have recorded 5 statements from 5 more female domestic aides at parliamentarian Rishad Badiuddin's residence. Police media spokesperson Senior DIG, Ajit Rohana said the statements have been obtained as part of a probe into the 16-year-old death of a domestic aide recently.
It
is reported that the girl had been abused. Investigations are being carried out to identify the people who were involved in the offence. The remains of the girl would be exhumed tomorrow in Dayagama for a post-mortem examination. An investigation has been launched into the 10 domestic aides who were employed at the residence since 2010. 11 females, including the deceased girl, have served as domestic aides. Statements were recorded from 5 people yesterday. Some of them were not in the area. Statements had been recorded from their parents.
A
woman who was involved in a suspicious transaction of 60 million rupees involving 5 bank accounts was arrested in Dehiwala earlier today.
The CID had arrested a 42-year-old woman in Dehiwala yesterday. It was reported that this woman has received 60 million rupees from various accounts from the past 4 years. She has maintained 5 accounts in various banks for this purpose. Further investigations carried out by the police have revealed that many people who deposited cash to these accounts are either drug racketeers or drug addicts.
On to another story that has been making headlines as of late. The National Gem and Jewellery Authority says that the world's largest star sapphire found in Ratnapura would be sold off at an international auction. Its chairman Tilak Veerasinghe has said that it would be sold off to the highest bidder.
The National Gem and Jewellery Authority's chairman Tilak Veerasinghe said foreign buyers have submitted bids to purchase the star sapphire, which has been named the Serendipity Sapphire. He noted that several foreign buyers have already submitted bids for the 510-kilogram star sapphire that has been stored safely. Initial evaluations showed that the star sapphire is worth at least $200 million.
In some tragic news from here at home, 2 people died in an accident this morning along the Batticaloa-Colombo main road in Kolakandawa, Valikanda. A bus transporting COVID-19 patients and an SUV collided head-on, resulting in the accident.
2 individuals travelling in the bus died in the accident, while 10 others sustained injuries. The deceased were 2 women who were residents from Kadavatmadua, Valikanda. The injured were admitted to the Manampitiya and Polonnaruwa General Hospital. Following the incident, the driver of the bus was arrested.
Teachers and principals have been protesting for more than 2 weeks, citing a series of demands, including a permanent solution to the issue of salary anomalies. Several protests were organized across the country today as well to that effect.
protest march organised by teachers and principals, which commenced from the Mayurupala grounds in Mavanella, headed towards the Mavanella town. A large number of protesters were seen taking part in the march. Another demonstration was staged today in the Vellavaya town as well.
The Sri Lanka Employees Union for Free Education staged a protest near the Presidential Secretariat today. They opposed their removal from the Education Publication Department after serving for 7 years. The Director General of the Educational Publications Department has cancelled the appointments of 50 employees. This has caused inconveniences for the Secretary to the Ministry of Education and the Minister of Education. We came here to inform the President about this. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa made these appointments. The former Minister of Education, Akhilaviraj Karyawasam, who held the portfolio from 2015 to 2019, never removed these employees. But the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna government that came into power is removing employees. 5 protesters were allowed to attend a meeting at the Presidential Secretariat afterwards.
Shop owners staged a protest against alleged attempts to demolish stores at the Kurunegala Central Market.
The protest was held opposite the Kurunegala Clock Tower. The protesters pointed out that the Municipal Council is preparing to demolish their stores at the Kurunegala Central Market. Provide us a space to set up our stores at an affordable price. We can't afford 2 or 3 million rupees. There are no millionaires here. We are only ordinary traders. If justice is being done, we would agree on an appropriate rate.
Shifting our attention to a story that made the headlines this afternoon. Consumers and local authorities bear contrasting views on the availability of gas cylinders in the local market. Consumers allege a gas shortage exists in the market despite authorities' claims on the contrary. The government has expressed Litro gas is capable of fulfilling the lacuna created in the market by LAF's gas. However, is this a practical move? The 2 prime gas suppliers in Sri Lanka, namely Litro Gas and LAF's Gas, recently requested the government to allow the price of gas to be increased by 751 rupees, citing a hike in gas prices in the global market. However, the government did not approve the request. As a result, a gas shortage in the local market is currently forming as LAF's Gas, which fulfills 30% of the demand, has failed to open letters of credit required to import gas. However, State Minister Lasantha Alagiyawanna affirmed that the government will ensure a shortage of gas in the local market will not emerge. If consumers attempt to overpurchase gas cylinders, the supply network might be disrupted. We would like to affirm the consumers a gas shortage will not occur in the market. Litro Gas has notified me in writing that they have taken initial steps to stop the distribution of the 18-litre gas cylinder. As the government, we will ensure the consumers who bring in LAF's gas cylinders will receive replacements of Litro gas cylinders.
Litro samagam magin e gas LAF samagame cylinder වලට gas ලබා දීමට අවශ්‍ය ක්‍රියාමාර්ග ගැනීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
The Ministry of Finance has appointed a management committee to supervise the matter. They are all empty. Consumers question us each day, but we cannot deliver. We cannot supply gas to hotels either. They do not answer our calls. Our trading activities have ground to a halt. This is a massive burden to the people and traders. They do not possess a concrete plan of action. We do not have the stocks of gas to distribute for over 2 weeks. We have invested money to purchase cylinders. Consumers continue to travel in search of gas. Neither the corporation nor the government has announced anything.
We
use Labs gas. We have not received gas for several weeks.
Over the past few weeks, cylinders were delivered every fortnight, but that too has stopped now. The people come here with empty cylinders. Against such a backdrop, Teshara Jayasinghe, the chairman of Litro Gas, issuing a communique, said although Labs Gas has decided to suspend the importation of gas, Litro Gas possesses sufficient stocks to cover the shortage. He added Litro Gas will replace gas cylinders of any color and size. Labs Gas bears the following opinion on the deepening gas crisis in the market.
We requested for a fair raise in the price of gas from the Consumer Affairs Authority in recent times. However, a favorable response was not provided. Owing to this, we cannot open the letters of credit required to import gas. Hence, the inability to import gas has given rise to a shortage in the local market.
Gas ආනයනය අඩු වෙලා තියෙන්නේ. මේක තමයි වෙළඳ පොලේ හිඟයක් ඇති වීමට තියෙන ප්‍රධානම හේතුව.
The chairman of Labs Gas also commented on the government's plan to provide replacements of Litro gas to Labs Gas cylinders.
Even during the discussion yesterday, the chairman of Litro Gas has conceded they would not be replacing gas cylinders in such a manner because that is illegal. It is illegal in any country for one brand to take over another's property. One brand cannot refill another cylinder based on the legal provisions in the country, especially the Intellectual Property Act and the Trademark Law. We maintain those cylinders. If another person refills those cylinders and an accident occurs, they will not accept responsibility. Hence, no agreement has been reached. We have notified the Consumer Affairs Authority in this regard and also requested for a discussion. We have also notified all parties, including the Finance Minister and President. There are 31 suppliers of gas in the country. There are around 12,000 distributors. All those are now in limbo. There are around 1.6 million consumers. We would like to tell the consumer this is a matter beyond us because we took every step necessary.
දැනුවත් කරනවා මේක ඇත්තටම අපේ සීමාවෙන් එහා දෙයක්. අපිට කළ හැකි හැමදේම අපි සිද්ධ කරා.
In news from the Tokyo Olympics, US swimmer Bobby Fink claimed the Olympic gold in the 800-meter freestyle event held earlier today. It's a wrap of lunchtime news on TV1. For the Newsfirst team, the voice of the people, I've been Jama Ratnayaka. Your next news bulletin will come your way at 1:55. Take care, stay safe, and have yourself a good afternoon.